What's up, family? Peace. It's your brother Cool. Public service announcement. And I feel the need to do this because I'm my own man. And I have my own thoughts. I have my own views and I have my own thoughts on things, my own perspective. So I don't like to be bunched in with groups of people. You know what I'm saying? I stand on my own too. And I have my foundations like everyone else has their foundations. But like all of us do, according to how we perceive shit, we like to, as my brother Sankofa always say, eat the fish and spit out the bones. You eat what's good to you and then you spit out what doesn't work for you. And that applies to everything. Especially when it comes to knowledge of self and who you perceive yourself to be and how you wish to, you know, the amount of self-determination you have for yourself and who you think in your mind who you are and how you want society to perceive you. That's where I'm at. I'm my own free-thinking man. So, this is what I want to say. People will take offense to this. With all due respect from the bottom of my heart, I love y'all to death. Y'all still my family no matter what. But I don't care about your opinions. What matters most to me is how I feel about me and what I'm doing. So this is why this needs to be said. I am a Moorish American. Proud Moorish American. Okay? I have no issues with that. Issues I have with is how people try to force ideologies on people because they say they are Moors. So now I say I'm a Moor, so automatically you're going to automatically assume that I'm part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that I'm a member of a church, you know what I'm saying, that I'm into law, which I am into law, you know what I'm saying, that's my thing, that's my shit, okay, Libra, scales, that's me, welcome, I'm in the flesh, nice to meet you, name's Cool. So, I stand on my own too. The studies I've done, and what I've learned, yes, I've learned it from Moorish science, okay? Remember now, it's just a term, Moorish science. You know what Moorish science is? It's science that's been flavored according to Moors' liking and perspective. But when I say Moors' liking and perspective, I can't put all Moors in that category because every Moor has their own way of doing things. For instance, no, I'm not a member of any church, okay? Yes, I have my national ID, alright? I do live according to the Zodiac Constitution, you know what I'm saying? Written by a beautiful man, you know what I'm saying? Brother C.N. Bay, Charles Mosley Bay, okay? So yes, I abide by that. Why do I abide by that? I don't abide by that because I look at it like a religion, or I look at it like, you know what I'm saying, I believe in the stories and shit like that. No, I'm not lost in any of that bullshit, okay? What I'm concerned about is right now, in the future. I really don't care too much about the past. Why? Because it's happened already. The best thing I can do from the past is look at the fish, see how I ate the fish, and see how or which bones I should have spat out. Why? So that now when I move forward, something in a situation like that happens again, or any type of situation for that matter, I will know how I like my fish. I will know which parts of the fish are good for me. I will know which parts of the fish are not. But just because I know doesn't mean that I won't be open enough to allow that whole message to get through so I can receive it in its whole. I don't want the message in pieces. Alright? So now, going back to Moors. I'm beginning my own movement. Why? Because a lot of people, they respect Noble Drew Ali. Don't think I don't. I respect Noble Drew Ali. I would not have come across this information if it wasn't for the teachings of Noble Drew Ali and the people who follow those teachings. I'm cool with that. But I'm not obligated or I'm not bound to the Moorish Science Temple of America. I am bound to nature. Okay? So my nature tells me that the principles of that science are similar to the principles of nature. So if I align with that according to my system sets up and how I perceive things, I'm cool. Why? Because we're too caught up in nationality. Yes, we don't want to be a second-class citizen, all right? No 14th Amendment citizen. I get that. You you need to be a national in order to exercise those rights as indigenous peoples and not corporate members. I get that. I get that with 360 degrees. Okay? But in order to progress or evolve, we can't keep following the same protocols. Why? Because the same protocols that work in one period of time do not work in another period of time. And that's where I find disagreement with certain aspects of the Moorish Science Temple, or Moors in general. And this is why I don't judge people according to where they're at. I just judge them by how they act. What they do, what are their actions. If I'm chilling with another Moor, I'm not going to bash him because he's joined the temple. And you shouldn't bash me because I'm in a temple. Why? Because the temple got nothing to do with my blood. What the fuck does the temple got to do with my blood? What the fuck does this association got to do with my blood? What does that have to do with nature? You see what I'm saying? I understand this world is ruled by contracts and paperwork. But we can't become subject to the contracts and the paperwork. Why? Because the contracts and the paperwork don't stand above us, nature. In order for those contracts and paperwork to even exist, there has to be living things of nature with energy to create those contracts and paper. Not to mention the fucking paper is trees. So we're killing trees to make paper. You need nature for those things to exist first. If there's no nature, none of that shit exists. So that's my standpoint on it. Yes, I'm a Moorish American national. Cool. But I'm also a fucking human being. Now, let's go to human rights. Declaration of Human Rights. Article 15, Section 1 and 2. You have the right to a nationality. Number 2, you have the right to not be arbitrarily deprived of your nationality. What that tells me in my thinking is, since I'm human, right? I'm human. So therefore, I have a right to create whatever the fuck I want, as long as it's in alignment with constitutional principles. And I'm not talking about constitutional principles of the United States. I'm talking about constitutional principles of your own society. See? Nobody has that conversation with other Moors. Because they want you to join their temple, but they won't teach you how to start your own temple. That's my problem. Because that's another form of religion, where you have a middleman. So who would be the middleman? And once again, no disrespect, but I'm just keeping it 100. Now, 8 more than 92 with me. Come on now. Alright? Grand Sheiks. You have Grand Sheiks all over. I don't look at Grand Sheiks any different than I would look at the representatives of the United States. Once again, not being disrespectful. I'm just looking at the whole spectrum. Don't judge it. Just take it for what it is right now. Why are they no difference? Why? Because the people put you in that position, so when there are things that need to be done, people are looking for you to get it done, to exercise those things and put shit into action. No, that is the wrong way to go about it. That is the wrong fucking way to go about it. And we will fall every time. Why? Because we always depend on one person. We always look for one man to lead us, or one woman to lead us. We don't need nobody to lead us. You need to lead your goddamn self. So what I'm saying is, the teachings of Noble Drew Ali weren't put in place for us to just follow and regurgitate it year after year after year. It was given to us to take it, eat the fish, spit out the bones, implement it, make it our own, and then move forward. So, I am Moorish American. I created my own society. I have my own society. I stand on my own too. Why? Because I did my studies. Thank God for the ones who came before me and laid this information down. As many people came and said, you crazy, conspiracy theorist, yada 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 yada. Look at my fucking pages. Look at my fucking YouTube. I stand behind what I say and I show facts. I tell you paying taxes is voluntary, then I show you a fucking pay stub where I'm not paying federal taxes. Blocked. Is anyone chasing me? No. Am I hiding? Am I in fear of getting a phone call from the IRS? I can't wait for the phone call. Hell, I might call them before they call me. If they call me, because they know I know my shit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, USC, which is United States Code, Title 26, Section 3121E. Start from there. USC, Title 26, Section 3121E. Definitions. You can start from there. And then let the seed start to grow. Okay? Because I know. So you can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Because it clicked for me. For me. You can't speak for how it clicks for me. So once again, I am my own man. I stand on my own too. What us Moors, whatever you want to call yourself, people, spirits. What us energy, our energies need to do? How can we increase the creativity of what we're doing? Alright, so I don't believe in being tied into just one form of tradition, and then that's just the way the tradition stays forever and ever. You're setting yourself up for failure. You gotta change with nature. Nature don't stay the same. It changes. So when it changes, you gotta change, or you're gonna get left behind. I don't want to get left behind, so I'm gonna change because I want to be in alignment with nature. Does it make sense? So my creativity, I refuse to have my creativity limited to what I can create or how I create, because I'm associated with these certain type of traditions or things like that. I can always implement and improve on them. Am I not the fucking ancestors? Do I not? If you trace my blood back, you won't. My blood back, you won't trace it back to the ancestors, the origin. What are you telling me? You're telling me I'm God, but then you tell me I gotta follow traditions. How can you tell God to follow traditions? What you should tell God is, this is what I have created. Eat the fish, spit out the bones. Now you create to your fitting, to your liking. You know why? Because in the Bible it took that nigga 7 days. Or took that girl 7 days, quote unquote. For you, it might take 7 years, 70 years, 700 years, 7 days, 7 months, 7 hours, 7 minutes. You see what I'm saying? Perspective, levels to this shit. You can't just stay tuned into one channel when there's like a billion other channels. You gotta open up. Open up. I feel like my moors don't open up enough. You gotta open up, baby. Open up, man. You gotta let the doors in. You gotta be welcoming. You gotta be able to look at people as human beings. We get too caught up in the paperwork game, man. Yeah, it's crucial because that's how Rome is ruling right now. But Babylon's falling. I mean, shit. Let the trees live. I'm just saying, we don't have to be subject to the paperwork. Yeah, the paperwork states our mindset. If you follow your paperwork, or even if you know how to do paperwork, I wouldn't recommend doing paperwork if you don't know anything about paperwork. If you need paperwork, holla at me. I'm a fair guy, I don't charge a lot. But I don't put myself in bullshit situations too. So if you're in the wrong and you try to contact me, when you're in the wrong, you're wrong. That means you gotta take that shit to the chest. Alright? Take responsibility for your actions. Point blank. So that's all I'm saying, man. I'm a man, I stand on my own too. I created my own society. Yes, I'm a Moorish American. Proud Moorish American, Aboriginal, indigenous to the Americas, to the whole fucking planet called Earth, or her real name would be Gaia. So, I'm a citizen of Gaia. Gaia's my mother. I'm her child. So, you ain't gonna tell me nothing about nothing. And I'm not saying I'm arrogant or I'm cocky, but I absolutely refuse to have perspectives pushed on me. Okay? Right now in my life, I'm thinking about myself. And I'm happy about that. I'm thinking about myself. I don't gotta worry about anything else, you know? It's free, so to say. It is free, you know? It's like a hump lifted off your shoulders. You know what I mean? Certain type of stress and certain type of things now you really don't have to concern yourself with. You don't. You're no longer obligated to. Now you can just do you. Do you. So, right now, I'm all about me. I'm in love with me. I'm falling in love with myself again. And I'm sweeping myself off my feet. But, I love myself too much to allow my creativity to be diminished now. That's where I'm at right now in my life. I love myself too much to let other fuckery fuck with me. I love myself too much to let people tell me what type of persona I can create for myself. Alright? If I say I'm a Moor, leave it at that. Don't try to sit here and break down history and tell me that I'm not a Moor. Because once again, I'm more than a Moor. That's just the title I'm using in today's society. Why am I using that title? Because it's the closest thing to tie back to the ancestors. Of course there's other titles than Moor, but goddamn it, that's the one that resonates with me. You got a problem with it? I don't have a problem with your shit. You read the Bible, Quran. I don't read any of those books. I don't read the Bible. I don't read the Quran. I like the Bible. I like the Quran for the principles. I mean, surf a little bit through them, but I'm not in there headstrong going in. I know I should be, because the Bible is a very genius scientific book. So is the Quran, but it's also all about the perspective. But me, I'd rather keep my perspective open. I've been in books for mad years. I'm trying to get the fuck away from books. touch trees now. That's what I want to do. I want to touch nature. This is the type of books I want to read. I don't even want to read them. I want to touch them. This is a book right here. Millions of pages of information and memory in this one branch right here. Right? Millions. But it goes unappreciated. People walk by these type of trees all day long and never think, let me just brush my hand across it. Let me just touch it. These are ancestors who want nothing more than to speak to us. You know what they're likened to? You ever seen homeless people? You know how when someone decides to do something nice for a homeless person, and they'll interact with them, sit down, talk with them, just to talk. A lot of them they appreciate human contact, being able to communicate with another entity or a spirit, another form of energy. That's deep. And then guess what? You start communicating with them, and you find out, yo, you got mad info. You are not what I thought you were. Why are you even in this position? But you won't know why, because you just walk by them every day and you don't pay them no mind. And they have information, millions and millions and millions of experiences to share, and no one wants to take the time to stop and let them share it. Same thing goes for trees. These trees have been here so long, and they hold so much memory and energy, and we just take them for granted. You take it for granted. We chop them up, we make coal out of them, we fucking chop them up, make paper, all types of bullshit. And these are the things that's helping us provide oxygen. I mean, granted, they only provide 30%, you know what I'm saying, the rest is algae, but goddammit, these are the motherfuckers that is pumping out that fresh shit in the morning. They help too. We have a bond. This right here is a marriage between me and this branch that I can't divorce from. Why? Because it gives me something to inhale, and I give it something to inhale. That's a connection. That's a bond. I can't break that unless I break this bond first. But what I'm saying is there's no difference between this bond and that bond. It's the same thing. It's a marriage. So initially what you're doing is you're ignoring your other half. You've been ignoring your partner. And all your partner wants to do is just give you energy and information to help better yourself. But you just walk by it and pay it no mind. So let's get out of the paperwork issue, guys. Let's get out of the history issue. We need to correct history. No, we don't. What we need to do is recreate our mystery. Recreate it. There's no reason to go back and look at how they did shit and then do the same shit now. No. Listen, when they created those things back there in ancient Kemet, that was off scratch. Do you really think that they had something already in place? That idea had to start from somewhere. Well, let me rephrase that. That idea had to start from nowhere. Then through experimentation, you know what I'm saying, understanding patterns, we were able to fine tune it throughout the millions of years. But don't forget, this shit took millions of years. Millions of years. How the fuck are we gonna go back in history and try to catch up on millions of years? Unless we ourselves are living for millions of years. Don't make sense. So we need to change with the times. We need to change with nature. If we don't change with nature, we're not going to do it. And this is why more science has been open. You know what I'm saying? This has been in the talks of nationality for over 150 years now. And we're still getting fucked. Why hasn't the message got out? And I don't think it's the message that the message is bad. No, the message is not bad. Because at the end of the day, every big leader of history that made a difference, yes, they had their own message, but it was always going in the same direction. Government. We don't need the Europeans. We can do it ourselves. That's always been the mantra for all these movements. I don't care what you say, what leader you use. At the end of the day, the mantra was always to free ourselves, to be able to just be on our own, live on our own, and do on our own, and do for self, and then do for each other. That's what all of this has been over the years. Movement, Black Panther, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nation of Islam. That's been the purpose of all of it. Freedom. Freedom. How are you going to be free if you're trapped to a tradition? So once again, I am your brother, Ku Amare Su El, proud Moorish American, indigenous aboriginal to North America.